I come with bad tidings, and it's so bad that my Yorkie, who is sitting next to me, is grunting and snorting, and you might be doing the same thing, so you might be joining him. Because this is not good, what I'm going to tell you. Now, I like to be positive, I like to be optimistic, but it's hard not to be pessimistic with what's rolling out from the government right now. So let's just do a recap of what the Federal Reserve has just announced. They said that inflation is going up by 3 to 4%. That's considerable. Usually it's 1 to 2%. And we owe trillions and trillions of dollars to several countries, including China. And China is our, I guess you would want to say, really, they're almost like our landlord at this point. We're almost owned by China. So that's a scary thought. Now, let's just look at the fact that we've had this pandemic. We're still in the pandemic. We still have political polarization. We have science polarization. We're polarized in so many different ways right now. So we're not really united. And when we're not working together, we're actually just breaking down. We're regressing. This is not good for our economy. So regardless of where you sit on the political spectrum or anywhere else, it's just important to take note that we're only hurting ourselves by all this bickering that we're doing. And I really put a lot of this to social networking. And in social networking, I'm adding online news because a lot of the news that's online, there's a lot of opinion pieces that are dressed up to be news. And these are meant to create conflict because conflict gets clicks. Clicks sell advertising. And so the news these days is not always meant to be informative and for the greater good. It's meant to cater to advertisers and ultimately those advertisers to politics. So, in looking at the big picture here, we have this inflation rate that's going up. Our poverty rate has been really skyrocketing as well. Now, here's a scary thing. I think the number was, and I don't have anything in front of me right now, but I think the number was something like 8.2, maybe, that the normal jump is maybe like a 6% and 8%, which isn't good. We've had a jump to 11 point, I think 7%. Yeah, 11.7%, I believe. So almost 12%. That is astronomical. That is ridiculous. This is not a way for us to, it's not even about getting out of the pandemic. We have a fiscal pandemic right now, and there is no vaccine for it. Well, that was kind of corny, but you know what I'm saying. So now on top of it, we have this very, very high poverty level. And this poverty level is mostly minorities and mostly children, children of all colors. So when we have all of this going on, we have just an incredible amount of weight on us fiscally because you may say that you're doing kind of okay? But the reality is you're not okay if we're also carrying the debt and the heaviness of the government, of what we have to pay back, of the people that we have to protect that are vulnerable. Our hospital systems are disintegrating. I mean, there's just a lot going on that we are not able to connect to in any way, shape, or form. So we have all of this happening. And so where do we go from here? Well, not many places. And this is why I'm just feeling a little upset because the Federal Reserve has also said, don't worry, we got this covered. Don't worry about it. But our fiscal health is overheating like a temperature that is nearing the 106 mark. So we are really getting to a feverish space that is not healthy and there's no coming back from it. And I mean, maybe there is, but not what we're doing right now. We have people on Wall Street upset about crypto. We just have, instead of people working together, We have everybody. Like I said earlier, we are just so polarized. We are polarized in a million ways, and as long as we're polarized, there is absolutely no way that we are going to make it because basically we're a bunch of mini wars going on. And again, it's part of the overheating. So if we have all of this happening and we have over 8 billion people in poverty, and if we have vulnerable children that we need to take care of, if we have uh, this trillions and trillions of dollars that we owe to China and who knows else, how are we going to come back from that? Now let's just take a look. You may say, well, I'm doing okay with my home or my community's okay. I live in a middle class neighborhood or whatever. Maybe you're not. Maybe you're saying, no, I'm in poverty and everyone around me is suffering. Let me just tell you about vicarious trauma and finances. When the pandemic was first really coming to fruition, what did people do? They ran out and they bought toilet paper. They over purchased and they were horrible to each other in grocery lines and everything else. Lysol was off the shelves. People were selling Lysol, one can of Lysol for $70. I mean, this is the kind of world we live in where there's a group of people that are willing to take from each other and also really just alienate each other. So we're not taking care of each other. So if we can't even take care of the person next to us in the grocery line, I'm pretty sure we're going to have a hard time taking care of vulnerable children. Or if we can't manage our own bills in our house, I don't know why we think that we're going to be able to, as a community, as a nation, pay back trillions of dollars. So the Federal Reserve stating that everything's under control is sort of, but it's almost patronizing. And so I'd love to hear your thoughts on it because this is something that I feel is wrong. And I think we need to do something different. And I want to know why. Like, what's happening that makes it okay? Like, why should we suddenly be okay with everything when we've been in what, are we in 18 months of this pandemic? 14 months? It's a blur. But we've been in this pandemic for a while. We've been in debt as a nation much longer. And, even when we have like certain days or certain years of like, oh, this president, put us ahead a little bit and this president did this or this president did that, we've been in debt for so long. These are just, we're talking about little tiny wins. This is like saying your child is failing, but, you know, they got on the bus without hitting anyone. Like these are just ridiculous things. So I'd like to hear your thoughts on it. And also, if you would like some free resources on how to manage financial anxiety and how to learn to get more empowered in your finances. We can't do a whole lot nationally, but we can do something one-on-one with ourselves. And I think we could do that. So hop over to my website, The Finance Therapist, and let's connect. Let's get you a little bit calmer. I know there's a lot going on, but here's a reality. We can protect ourselves a lot easier than we can make these bigger changes with the nation. However, we're going to be impulsive and we're going to go run out and buy toilet paper and we're going to do a lot of behaviors that are based off of trauma, vicarious trauma, and even anger. So hop to my website, thefinancetherapist.com, and let's continue this conversation.